conclusion of Deceased wraps up with a bang. Oh, I am so glad you're here because this is about to be good. Welcome to Two Geeks and a Microphone. Oh. Who goes first? You go first? I go first.
Hello there. So who talks first? You talk first. I talk first.
Welcome everyone to the Two Geeks and a Microphone show. I am your co-host, Mr. Stephen Boster, along with the one, the only, the most illustrious, the most comic bookiest dude I know is Mr. Michael Shanks. Mike, say hey to everybody.
Good morning to you, all you geeks out there in geekdom land. And as George Lucas would say, we'll fix that in post. And I will.
We'll do it live.
And also, just for my wife, we got a good one for you today. That's a little private joke between us. She'll get it.
Oh, goodness. Well, hey, everybody. I'm so glad that you're here with us. This is going to be a splendorific episode. We, as you know, have in the past, we have covered Deceased and the ultimate ending. They've wrapped it all up in the new War of the Undead Gods. And so I am interested to having this conversation with Mike because, as you well know, we have really tried hard to save it for the podcast. Yeah. And we've done a pretty decent job on this one because we have no idea where the other one is on this. So this should be interesting. Yeah. Yep, you're Save It for the Podcast shirt. By the way, speaking of everybody, if you go to our website, twogeeksmike.com, twogeeksmike.com, and that would be the number 2.
Sorry, I wasn't. Yeah,
that's a joke. We have with 3 geeky dads too. They're one of our favorites. But go to our website, 3geeksmike.com, and you can go to our merch page.
2geeksmike.com. You said 3. Don't send them to the wrong site.
Don't send them to the wrong site. And that's what I was trying not to do. That's funny. I was thinking, don't say 3 I must have. So anyway, sorry about that. 2geeksmike.com, everybody. Mike has done a really good job of finding a new company for our merch. And I'm pretty pleased with them. So the new link and everything is on there to our merch page. There's all kinds of neat stuff on there, but Save It for the Podcast is one of our t-shirts that we have. And so it's pretty fun. So be sure to check that out. And also, make sure you say hi in the chat that you're here because we're taking a look at those, and we really like hearing from everybody and all our friends of the show. We have a great time. I'll be open with you guys. If you ever have a chance to do a podcast because it's a lot of fun. You meet people from all over the world, and it's just a lot of fun. So with that said, Mike, we saved it for the podcast for this episode. So you want to just jump on in and let's go ahead and hit our geeky news.
Well, I wanted to add something real quick. You mentioned the merchandise. Carissa Grant, our guest last week, who did the comic series, oh gosh, I can't think of what Redemption. Yeah.
Worthy Chaos Comics.
Worthy Chaos. That's what I was trying to remember. Thank you. She will be getting the first of our mugs from the new merch. So
oh, nice.
Hopefully we will get a new picture from her. I will make sure and message her after she gets it and ask her to send a picture for our mug wall. We do have a mug wall picture page on our Facebook page. So if you go to that, you can see all of our guests, every guest that we've had. I've sent a mug to. So, and each one of us has been kind enough to send us a selfie with their new 2 Geeks mug. So hopefully we'll be adding Carissa to that. So let's move on to some geeky news. All right. I have 2 items for the geeky news today.
Okay.
First one, apparently Netflix was in talks of doing a brand new He-Man and the Masters of the Universe movie. Unfortunately, they've scrapped it.
Wah, wah.
It looks like they spent $30 million developing this live action movie. It looks like they were in the works, and they even had the guy who played, here he is, Noah Santana, who played Atom Smasher in the Black Adam movie. He was supposed to play He-Man.
Wow.
Man in the Masters of the movie. Masters of the Universe movie.
Masters of the movie.
I have the power. Anyway, I would have liked to have seen a new live action He-Man because the original one sucked. It was horrible. They had the right He-Man. You had Dolph Lundgren, which was great, but the movie was just terrible. It was a horrible movie. In fact, 3 Geeky Dads did it for their Drink Till It's Good segment. Good go, I forget. It was a great episode, so go listen to 3 Geeky Dads and their breakdown of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. It's really good. Now, the other news. This is big news. I am excited. This was announced at San Diego Comic-Con on Thursday.
Oh, that's right. That's going on this weekend.
Yes.
How do I not know that or remember that?
And our next week's guest is there right now.
Nice.
Anyway, so Justice League or DC Comics announced that they are going to have a new comic book coming out, Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong. Oh my goodness. I cannot wait for this.
Oh my.
Oh my. Yes, exactly. And I had, dang it.
Is it a live action or is it animated?
Here we go. Look at the artwork
animated.
From this.
Okay.
No, it's a comic book.
Oh,
it's I think 6-issue series. I am going to Fantasy after we do the podcast today, and I'm going to make sure they add it to my pull list because I am not missing out on this. I think it's a 6-issue series. It begins in October, and I am super, pun intended, excited about this. So, yes.
Excuse me.
I mean, Godzilla versus King Kong versus Justice League. How freaking awesome can you get?
That is interesting. It'd be interesting to see what that's like.
So, that is my geeky news for today.
Right on. Right on.
And like we did say, next week we got a big guest. We have Eric July. He is the creator, the CEO of Rippaverse Comic Books.
It's very exciting.
Yeah, I'm super excited. He is at San Diego Comic-Con, so we'll be able to talk to him about his experiences at the big Comic-Con and discuss everything Rippaverse. So I'm looking forward to next week's episode.
Yeah, everybody, please join us because this is one of the biggest guests we've had.
Yes.
I don't know if he's the biggest, but he's one of the biggest that we've.
Well, Eric July, his comic last year, issue number 1, he did that on Kickstarter, and he outsold both DC's and Marvel's biggest books last summer. So I'd say that's big.
Yeah,
it's really big.
Yeah, it's really big.
And from what I'm seeing, this year's comic, number 2, it's selling just as much as the first one. So yeah, he's doing good, and I'm so excited to talk to him.
Yeah. Yep. Join us, everybody, because we're going to talk about those comics. We're going to talk about the motivations behind it. We're going to talk about the whole Rippaverse. I mean, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. So
I don't know how much we're going to get out of him because issue 2 won't ship till July 31st, and I've ordered mine. I can't wait to get it. So I don't know how much because he's not going to give away many spoilers or anything, but we'll see what we can get out of
it because it is the second one, so it'll be good.
We'll see if we can pull some spoilers out of him. Anyway.
Right on. Okay, let's move on to Geekdar.
Right.
Control with the radar, sir.
What's wrong with it?
I've lost the bleeps, I've lost the sweeps, and I've lost the creeps.
The what? The what? And the what?
You know, the bleeps, the sweeps, and the creeps.
It's not all he's lost.
Message.
All right. Right on. Well, hey everybody, I'm going to start off on the Geek Dar because I finally watched The Flash. We've already done our episode on it, but I had not watched it, and so kind of excited. And what did we use for the ratings that day? Do you remember what we used?
Yeah. Aaron picked that, and it was Falling Babies.
Oh yeah, now I get it. Okay, yeah. Well,
and I don't think we ever actually went back and discussed the Falling Babies, which is bad.
Yeah. So, I don't. Do you remember what rating you gave? I give it a solid 8 out of 10. Falling Babies.
I don't remember.
I think you said 7.5.
I think I said 7.5.
Yeah.
I mean, overall, I enjoyed it for the most part, but there were just some things that's like, oh, this is kind of bad.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, anytime Batman was on the screen, I was glued. I was
Wait a minute. Did it matter which Batman?
It didn't matter.
Yep. Okay, good.
Even with,
I was happy with both Batmans.
Both Batman. I was even happy with the ending Batman. Bruce Wayne. Because I was like, okay, cool. But see, that's not on Clooney. That's on the type of movie it was, and blah 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 blah. So I'm just saying.
Yeah, okay.
He's an actor. He didn't write it. He just
didn't write it, but he contributed to it, and Okay, we're move on with your.
But it was great to see. But it was absolutely fabulous to see Michael Keaton. At first I was like, where are they going with this? And I was like, okay, this is kind of cool and all. You were right. They brought in the whole get electrocuted scene.
That was fabulous. Oh my gosh. That's probably the best scene in the movie, actually.
I was surprised that there was probably good 3 or 4 really heartfelt moments that were really good in it. And I was like, you know what? I said, this is, a little touch in the feels, I mean, this is really good. I agree with you. I did not like the younger Barry Allen. It could have been a good character, but they made it just an annoying character.
He was so bad.
Yeah. And it was okay. I was surprised that they did bring in the way they did the Superman character, with Supergirl, with Kara and stuff, which was good. I mean, I liked it, but it's like, well, this is kind of doing Flashpoint, but we're doing, but we're doing,
Supergirl instead of Superman.
And I did like that, to be open with you. I thought that was an interesting dynamic and stuff.
There really wasn't enough for her, though. I mean,
there really wasn't, in even big battle wise, but I don't know if I like the whole time travel thing either. The way it was like a little bubble. I couldn't make sense of it. It was like a little bubble, and I was like, well, he's not running.
I think they were trying to go for in the.
It reminded me of something.
Well, in the original Barry Allen comics, Barry uses the cosmic treadmill. Okay, and I think they've done away with that because they felt it was cheesy. So I think they were doing
that.
Yeah, I think they were kind of doing the cosmic treadmill thing is what I believe they were trying to do. I don't know, and it could have been a way to satisfy really really hardcore Flash fans. But yeah, you're right. I think the way they do the Speed Force in the TV show was a little bit better than what they did in the movie.
Gotcha.
But then it was kind of neat seeing all the different, things in it. So.
That was cool. And the ending, how they brought all this whole multiverses were crashing together and all that kind of stuff was really good too. So in the villain, they had that the Speed Force villain, I'll put, was okay.
Yeah.
It was all right. Kind of a thing.
It's just him.
Yeah.
I would have been happier if it would have been a Reverse Flash. If you would have had the reverse flash, I think it would have been
I
much.
thought it was one of much more better. Right on. I'm for sure though it would have been the what's the dark flash, the one with the death face on it, the black flash.
Oh yeah, Black Flash. Yeah. Well, I mean, in a way it was, but it was more like, you know what it was? It was Savitar. That's what it was.
Mhm.
It was Savitar from the TV series, which
yeah.
Savitar turns out to be Barry Allen,
Mm-hmm.
the future Barry Allen. So it's the exact same thing. Only this one they called him Dark Flash instead of calling him Savitar. That is the only difference. And I think Savitar actually looked better. That's
Very
funny
much
that
better.
the television, yeah, much more better.
Much more better again. Everybody, we're getting caffeined up. Look out.
Kind of sad that the television did some looks a little bit better than the movie, because the movie, they spent a lot of money on that movie.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm interfering with your geek door.
It's all good. It's all good. So, I mean, we needed to interact on it, so it's totally fine. So, I enjoyed it. So, yeah. All right. So, I'll there's mine for the week.
That is available streaming now, and it is available to purchase digitally. I don't know if you can purchase the physical copy yet. I'll wait a little bit to see if there's a deal on it, but I probably will buy it digitally soon here, just to have it, because it does have Michael Keaton Batman, and we all know he's Batman.
Batman. He's Batman.
So
yeah.
Go support the Flash. It was, it's worth watching. Go support it.
It is worth seeing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. And right. Hey, listen, very minimal Steven skips.
Oh, well, that's good.
It had a lot of Batman in it. I watched the whole first 20, 30 minutes with the fallen babies and everything because it was Batman. It was my favorite Batman. I enjoyed Ben Affleck Batman. And then you had a lot of Michael Keaton in it and stuff, which was great. Yeah. So,
okay.
That's enough time. Sorry, I took a lot of time on that.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Anything else?
Nope.
Okay. All right. I have two things for my Geekdar. First thing, I will add a camera to our stream. Oh man. Hold on. I got to readjust my camera.
All right, everybody. So what we're seeing on the screen is seeing these little cool Batman pops.
Yeah. So Megan's bought me a few Batman pops over the years for Christmas and birthdays and so on and so forth. And so she's got me these two cool ones where it has the comic book background in the back of it in a case. And one of them is the Todd McFarlane Batman issue, which is amazing artwork. I love it. And then you got the little Batman pop to go with it. And then the other one, I believe, is the first appearance of Robin. And then it has the little Batman pop to go with that one. But I have three other Batmans. I have the new Batman from the new Flash movie. And then I have the Christian Bale Batman from The Dark Knight. And then Megan got me the Batmite, which I love Batmite. And I was like, I had him sitting here on my table for the longest time. And so then I had the McFarlane cover up on the wall. And I thought I'll just put them on top of the McFarlane. Well, they're kind of cramped. And then Megan went and told me about this little company. They're called Superhero DIY. And they make these cool little stands, floating stands.
I see that
for the pops, and they even give you command strips so that you can attach your floating stand to the wall and such. And they worked really well. They look nice, well displayed. I really like them. So that's my first Geekdar. Cool. My second Geekdar would be I got issue number 1 of Isom. So Isom is the comic book that Ripperverse does, and Eric July will be on next week, and we'll talk a little bit more about Isom next week. So
that'd be good.
That's my other Geekdar. Oh, and one last thing.
Yes.
I also read up on Venom Lethal Protector, which has been a 5-issue series, and this series was ended with Dr. Doom getting the Venom symbiote, which is really good. Highly recommend Venom Lethal Protector. So
I think I've got the first issue of that.
Well, actually, you might have the first issue of the first one. This is the second 5-issue series. So.
Oh, okay. I got first issue of the first one. Okay. So
depending on when you got it, I don't know when you got it. So
I just, that just reminded me yesterday or day before, Insomniac released a story trailer for the new Spider-Man 2 game.
Ooh, cool.
And they showed Venom in it. They showed the whole Venom, and because I remember when they first showed the thing, it was showing a very grumpy Peter Parker, and Miles was just like, okay, kind of thing. But then Venom's coming, and they're going to do a Venom storyline in it. So
I just thought of something. You're actually probably thinking of Venom Lethal Protector from the 90s when he got his that's what you're thinking, because that's what they called the comic when it first came out back in the 90s, Lethal Protector.
Mm-hmm.
And that's actually my favorite version of Venom. I think he's the best. But this series has him teaming up with Silver Sable, and she kind of hires him on in her group and everything, and they end up taking on Dr. Doom at the end of it, and Dr. Doom gets the symbiote, which is pretty freaking cool. Doom in the symbiote looks awesome, by the way.
Right on.
Looking.
Right on.
All right.
Cool.
So that's all I got for Geek Dark.
Sweet. So now it's time
for
It's time for the main event. All right, everybody, we went through and we read the latest and greatest part of the whole Deceased series, and the latest set of comics to come out for that are the final. It's the final part, the final portion, the final story in Deceased: War of the Undead Gods. And Mike and I have not said anything about it, as we referenced earlier. I'm looking forward to this. I just want to give you guys a heads up. We'll talk briefly about what the main idea of the story is, kind of the big picture of the story. And then we'll give our rating. And then we're going to go into spoilerific territory, because you really cannot talk about this series without talking spoilers, kind of a thing. So I want to give everybody a heads up.
So what are we using for our rating for this? I didn't even think about.
Well, we can think about it. I just want to. I tell you what. Let's give the synopsis. Or do you have a synopsis ready, or you want me to do one? No. You do or don't. If you don't, that's okay. I'll give it. Okay. So, hey, everybody. This story takes place. If you have not listened to or watched our other episode on Deceased,
we have 2 episodes on Deceased, by the way, because I looked it up earlier this week.
Yeah,
we did a part 1 and part 2, because that was that's a big series.
We did. We covered all the series that were out at the time, and then we were saying we're going to go into the new War of the Undead Gods. And in that series, there's the anti-life virus. Starts off coming out of, Darkseid gets a hold of Cyborg, and then uses Cyborg to create it. It infects everybody through phones or through physical touch, kind of a thing. It was electronic plus biological virus. And everybody gets infected, becomes zombified, for lack of a better term. And it's just a way to do a zombie story. And heroes get it, heroes don't. Then they finally find a cure, but there are heroes that are lost, that cannot come back, and that is part of
this one. Yeah,
it does roll into this story, and it's an interesting part of the story too. Then, but our story, War of the Undead Gods, is after they have found the virus, the cure for the virus, and people have been cured, people are coming back. It's like, yay, everyone's coming back, and then all of a sudden, the virus is back. and it has infected like the new gods, and just starts blowing through the universe once again. And there's a little more maleficence behind it that you find out as part of the story. And it's how our heroes, who are left over from what has occurred in the past, and as they get to see each other and get to connect with each other, they're all hit with the virus in their lives personally all over the place once again. And then it is the struggle that occurs through that. There are some big character development things, and there's some big character changes, and it is an interesting story to say the least. I'm trying to be real generic so we can give our rate. How's that for a
that was good
issue series as well? So
how many issues did you say?
Is 8.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, it is an 8-issue series. We waited till the series was complete and available on DC Infinite. So you can either pick them up as hard copies. I got mine hard copies, or you can check it out on DC Infinite. It is available on each of them right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, what do we pick as a scale for this one? I don't even. Man, what was
mother boxes?
Okay. All right. Yeah. All right. That's fine. Either that or boom tubes.
Ooh, boom tubes. Boom tubes is better.
Or doom tubes.
Doom tubes. That's better stated. Doom
tubes.
We'll explain everybody.
Let's go doom tubes.
I think that's good.
I like that.
Yep.
All right. You want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
Oh no, go ahead. Ladies first. Just tease it. He's gonna get me back, everybody.
Age before beauty.
Oh, well stated. Right on. That was a good one.
Oh, wait a minute. Never mind. Anyway, I just called. Never mind. Anyhow, so I really liked this series. I thought this was a fitting end to the DC storyline. I don't know if I liked it quite as much as the first one, but the first one was so unique and different.
Yes. Okay.
It's kind of hard to be unique and different when you're doing a sequel to the original.
Okay.
That's not to downgrade it so much, but just saying that it can't be quite as high, in my opinion, as the first one, just because the first one was so unique. But the story's good. There's some really touching stuff in it, especially with Alfred, that I was like, oh man, that sucks. And we'll get into that a little bit. And there's a lot of cool things with the heroes that I really like. I love seeing Superman with the cybernetic arm. That was pretty neat. I enjoyed that. So I think on a scale of 10 Doom tubes, I will give this 8 out of 10.
Okay. Right on.
Doom tubes.
Okay. I absolutely adored this. I give it a 10 out of 10 for me.
Wow.
I totally enjoyed it. I couldn't put it down, kind of a thing. And it was how shall I say? It was a fitting end. I thought the ending was better than the beginning series.
Okay.
I thought this one was better. Not saying the beginning wasn't good. The beginning is, you're right, is unique and stuff. But it was a great, incredible fitting into the story. Very much a page turner. Very much what's happened next. Every single issue ended with an incredible cliffhanger. Some type of reveal or a cliffhanger where, oh my goodness, I gotta look at the next one. Or it was such a reveal at the end that you couldn't wait to see the next issue, kind of a thing.
Yeah, see, now there was a problem with that because there was a certain character that was introduced towards the end of it that I was super excited about. Okay. And then I just felt let down. It was like,
okay, I'll be interested to hear
that. That's the only reason I give it a little bit lower score. Otherwise, I would have went a higher score. I would have went a 9 or 10.
Yeah.
Had I gotten what I wanted out of that character. But since it was a big build up to him, and then it was like, really? That's all he did? I mean, so yeah, I was bummed about that. But other than that, this series is great. You know,
it is fabulous.
You definitely cannot read War of the Undead Gods until you've read Deceased. You definitely have to read.
You really have to read through the series.
Right.
The best way to do that is, if you're budget minded, is to do the Infinite app. I will say the last comic though is under the Ultra level of membership.
Okay.
So number 8 is
yeah, but
it just came out.
It should be available, I think, in another month or something on the
Right.
regular side.
Yeah, it'll take you that long to get there through it. Just saying, because there's a bunch of episodes.
The first series is all available in trade paperbacks, because I bought that one all in trade paperbacks, and they are beautiful, beautiful, amazing covers. I mean, the first one is just the zombie Batman, and he's amazing looking. So incredible artwork too.
The artwork is agreed. The artwork is really, really good.
Top notch.
The thing about this series, I think, for me, the reason I really score it high is, if when I go to a comic book, this is what I want. I got heroes, I got villains, I got tension. I'm like, oh my goodness, how are they going to get out of this? Looking at every page and how well the artwork is done. Because, you know, there are some comics where you get them in the small panels look terrible. They just look terrible. Like, I'll just rush the small panels.
Well, what I hate is when they get a different artist to do the cover, but then the story artwork is a total different artist, and it doesn't come anywhere near the cover art, you know. And I absolutely hate that, and I cannot say that about these issues. The cover art is beautiful. Each one is amazing. It's an artwork in itself. And then there are a lot of panels you can just get lost in, just like, wow, what beautiful work in these books. So yeah, I can't praise the artwork enough. It's really, really good.
All right, so should we go into spoilerific territory?
We shall.
And spoiler alert, everybody, we are moving into dun dun dun.
All right, we're officially in spoiler mode territory.
That's right.
So we kind of recap a little bit at the beginning of this, what had happened at the end, or you know, kind of what happens at the end of Deceased Part 1, or well, the first half of Deceased, I should say.
Yeah.
And we get the story of Supergirl in this, which is interesting. And I should state that these DC stories are outside the regular DC main continuity. So they are not quote unquote canon. This is almost an Elseworlds type thing. I heard somebody earlier, I was kind of trying to watch a little recap of it, and he described it as these almost remind him of DC. What's the one where Superman goes bad?
Injustice.
Yeah, Injustice. He said it has a very Injustice feel to it. Really well world building in this, you know, towards this portion of the DC universe. I know you hate multiverse, Steven, but this is where I think multiverse works really well.
Agreed.
I think
it's Elseworlds. It's Elseworlds. So is how I took it. But they did say it was Earth too, so you know.
Yeah. So I mean, I think this is part of the multiverse. It's just a different part. And again, I think this is an example of when multiverse works well. And I think we're gonna get into some multiverse talk next week, because Eric July has his issues with the multiverse, and I really want to get into that. So
yeah.
But yeah, I think this is an example, and even you enjoyed this, and you hate the multiverse. So
I did, because it wasn't crossing the streams of multiverse and confusing characters. You know, and I think even thinking about July about being on next week, I wonder if it's continuity, because continuity is a big deal for him.
With him,
really big deal.
But I still want to get into it a little bit, because I think there are there are things that can work in the multiverse, but I do believe you're right, and I've heard him state it too, that multiverse is a tool of lazy writing. Well, it can be. It just depends on how you use it, and I think this is an example of good multiverse.
And I'm guilty of saying that of the lazy writing and stuff in the past.
I can go back and find it on the show.
I'm sure you could.
Like sound bites.
Yeah, but I will say this is a good. Well, Flashpoint was a good example.
Oh, Flashpoint is one of the best.
Yeah, and I think even with this one, it's its own encapsulated world that has its own unique streamlined themes and stuff. So you're not confused on who the characters are or their own continuity within their story.
Right, and I think Injustice does that too. Because Injustice is
Injustice does that too. It's a great story.
Now,
I mean, come on, Superman kills the Joker is like the best scene ever.
Oh man, that's a heart-wrenching. Yeah, that's
I see what you did there.
It really is, though. I mean, gosh, wow.
Hey, everybody, we've got a new thing for our show, but we haven't done it yet. Here we go. Wow.
The first Crisis was great, but then they've just so you overuse Crisis, because every couple of years there's a new Crisis.
Yeah,
and it's like, the first event was mind-blowing.
It was unique. No
right.
one had done it before.
Right, and it was a way for DC to bring the DC universe back together. You killed off some major characters. You killed off the Flash in that, the Barry Allen Flash, and then we got introduced to the Wally West version of Flash, where he takes over the mantle, and he's no longer Kid Flash. A lot of big, I think Supergirl dies in that one, if I remember right. A lot of big, huge, universe-changing events happened, but then they reverse these things, and I think that's where Eric July gets into. He gets tired of, well, I don't know where we're at in the multiverse. But when you have story events like Injustice, and you have Deceased, I think those are very good examples of using the multiverse in the proper way to be able to tell stories that don't fit within the regular continuity, that you're not handcuffed to, and okay, well, I can't do that because in the main universe they don't die, so I can't kill them off there. But if you're outside of it, yeah, you can kill them off, and it's significant for that story. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think these are good examples of good use of multiverse.
Yes, agreed. So, gosh, everybody, a lot happens in this series, and I don't know if we just want to talk about our favorite parts or that's normally what we do. But I guess I want to start off. We're going to do a huge spoiler here. I want to hear your concern about the character. This is why one of the reasons you knocked it down a little bit was there's a certain character excited when something happened and then didn't kind of play out. Help me understand that. What is that?
Okay. Well, real quick, look at the private chat, and I'll explain that. So at one point in the series, we get the introduction to Lobo, the main man, which I love. Lobo is an amazing character, and I still want to see Jason Momoa play Lobo in the new DCU. I think he would be an incredible Lobo.
Yeah.
I don't care if he's played Aquaman. It doesn't make no difference to me. Anyway, he can play both. So yeah, we get the introduction to Lobo, and I don't remember the characters that contact him.
Okay.
But the group, this particular group contacts him because they're wanting help to destroy Darkseid, basically. And
right.
right? Because Darkseid is still infected with the virus, and he's infected the new gods, which they're reinfecting the universe and so on and so forth. So they bring Lobo in. Lobo's just great because Lobo's like, yeah, why would I do this? What's in it for me? It's so Lobo, you know?
Yeah.
And they're like, well, this is your universe too, but this is Lobo. He doesn't care. Lobo destroyed his own planet. He doesn't care. You know, he's like, so what is it to me? You gotta give me something. And they're like, look, we'll give you anything, any any vice that you want, basically. And he's like, okay, all right, that's sweet.
Oh yeah, and there's like for 100 years.
Yeah, for 100 years, and he's like,
well, I'll get bored.
Right, I'll get bored. And they're like, we'll make sure you don't get bored.
Right. We will create new hedonistic ways.
Right. I love that. I mean, it was so freaking Lobo. For anyone who does not know, Lobo is almost the Deadpool in some ways. He's the Deadpool of the DC universe. You know, he's just this insane paid killer across the DC
contract
universe.
For hire. Yeah,
contract for hire, and he's a smart aleck, and he's actually more crude than Deadpool in my opinion. But anyway, so I was really excited to see the main man come into the continuity, and then they just kind of let me down because it's like, okay, we didn't even get any big battles with Lobo. All we got was Lobo basically injects Darkseid with the antivirus, and that was it. I'm like, really? That's all we get? We had all this buildup of Lobo, and then nothing. I mean, he's even on the cover of the next issue. Now, this is an issue I have, and he's not even in that issue. And it's like, oh, come on.
Oh, okay.
You gave me a tease of Lobo, and I got nothing.
Got nothing.
Yeah, that's comic book. Yeah, that's perfect, Megan. Comic book clickbait. Do that. I hate it when they put something on the cover and then they never have it in the issue. It just
agreed.
Oh, darn you.
Yeah. Okay.
So that was my biggest problem.
Sure. I wondered when Lobo entered in it, I was like, oh, I wonder what Mike's thinking, because I know he really likes Lobo.
I do. Lobo's fun. He's a fun character. So yeah, I was disappointed with that. That was my disappointment. And had they done more with Lobo, I would have been thrilled if Lobo was the one who, you know, pulled everything off and saved everyone. That would have been incredible.
He's not a main hero.
Yeah, but can you imagine if he did? His ego would be so big.
Yeah.
That it would just be glorious.
Right. I made my own universe.
Right.
Only to destroy it. Woohoo!
The Loboverse. Oh my gosh. Could you imagine the Loboverse?
That'd be pretty funny.
I so want a Loboverse now.
A special what if episode, Elseworlds episode.
Marvel's got a Venomverse. Why not have a Loboverse? Why not DC? DC if yeah. Yeah. I want a Loboverse.
Right on.
Anyway.
There goes some headcanon, everybody. He's creating his own Loboverse in his brain.
Okay. So.
All right. Let me talk about one of my favorite parts of this whole thing. Then I appreciate your time on that, because I was curious which character it was, because there's another character that happens at the end that took me totally by surprise, and I really thought was very fascinating and very interesting, and a very fitting culmination of a certain storyline that we'll get to in a minute.
Okay.
There was two. There was that one that I kind of want to save. And the second one is the relationship between the Super Sons was phenomenal in this whole series.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I agree.
Because Superboy becomes Superman. And then Damian Wayne becomes the Batman as part of the whole deceased line. Because Superman had been left Earth in the middle of the sun, you know, for 5 years or whatever, I think. they go in and save them. That's how they start that off. So it was really interesting. But I loved the camaraderie between them all.
Yes. Yeah, just about every time the Super Sons are on, I usually enjoy them. There's a good dynamic between Damien and John
Mhm.
Kent. I really like the aspect between those two. And then you get this adult version of the young adult version of them. And you see how much Damien actually grows up. He is so different in this universe.
He is. I like him.
I mean, I go back and forth between hating Damien and loving Damien.
Right.
I have a love-hate relationship with Damian Wayne.
Yeah. We'll just call it character arc because Damian Wayne is so much older now, kind of, or I guess he's still 18, around the 18 age, if I remember right.
Yeah, I think, yeah. It was his 18th birthday. So
yeah,
that's why I say young adult,
young adult. I'll go with that.
But I think it's not just his age; it's the experience that's happened to him within the deceased universe. Seeing all the death around him changes him quite a bit. And there's a part of it that's almost like, oh, this is a little cringy, and you see that in series 1 of Deceased too. But for the most part, I think it works out for the character, and I like where they head with it.
Right on. Yeah. I just it was just really neat. It was just a really neat aspect of the story. It was just the quote unquote brotherhood between the two.
Yeah,
which was really good. Now, speaking of brotherhoods or family and stuff, in the series Deceased, prior to our current set comics that we're reading on the War of the Undead Gods, Batman and Nightwing, and
Red Hood, Jason Todd.
Red Hood, Jason Todd. They turn, and then Alfred has
to. Now this is from the first.
This is from the first. Yeah, Alfred. Right. Yeah, Alfred has to take their lives, kind of a thing.
So they turn in. They turn in the Batcave. Now Batman fights it off for a while, but he can't continue to fight it off, and then he turns, and all of them attack Alfred, and Alfred has to put them down. He has to put a bullet in their heads, and it is gut-wrenching. Oh my gosh, it's just like, wow. And the fact that Alfred is, he's like, I had to kill my sons,
Yes. Yes.
Just, oh my gosh. Yeah. That's good comic book writing right there.
It's incredible storytelling. This whole set of series, the Undead Gods, I mean, is just incredible storytelling. But anyway, continue on. I'm sorry.
But then we find out later that there's a cure. But the problem is, if you've been killed like that, there's no bringing you back. So we don't get the Bat family back. The Bat family is gone, all is left is Alfred and Damien. They're the only ones left. And it's gut-wrenching because Alfred, he's feeling it all through this book. But then, like you said, we get kind of a surprise character towards the end. And that was mind-blowing. I loved it.
Yeah. So what happens?
I don't know if they explain it well enough, but I like it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. So what happens, everybody, is Alfred says, I'm going to go with you after you find out that Alfred's been shacking up with Leslie Tompkins.
Yeah, Batman's doctor.
Right? Yeah. His butler and his doctor. Whoa, got busy. Well, sorry, I'm just kidding. But they're together, and Alfred says, you got to take me with you. I can't lose one more son, kind of a thing. I was like, oh, that's cool. That's touching.
Well, he also says, I can't sit on the sidelines this time. And Damien's like, you've never sat on the sidelines.
Yeah, it was just great. It's just
always been a part of us. So
yeah,
that was good too. That was really, really good.
it was. And so he goes, and then all of a sudden, you've got what's his name? The Vengeance.
Spectre.
Spectre, thank you. And you get Spectre, but then how does that happen? Help me understand how he gets separated.
Well, okay, so Spectre and you have Superman and Mxyzptlk of Mr. Mxyzptlk. I never know if I'm saying his name right.
Right.
They think they're going to go and destroy the Erebos.
Yeah, go for it.
Erebos is who basically is controlling the virus. Okay.
Yeah.
We never really see Erebos, do we?
Mm-hmm.
Do we? Oh yeah, at the very, very end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole last episode or last issue.
Last episode.
Yeah. Sorry. Of course I have it.
Anyway, they think that they're going to go destroy Erebos, and in the meantime, that's when they run into Darkseid, isn't it? And Mxyzptlk. Well, first Spectre. Go ahead.
No, I just go ahead where you're headed. So,
well, Spectre battles him, and you don't think the Spectre's going to, because Spectre is one of the most powerful beings in the DC universe, and he ends up losing, and that's a huge loss for the DC universe, losing Spectre, because Spectre can literally change realities. I mean, that's one of his powers, is that he can actually change realities. So if you have Spectre as infected by the virus, there's untellable damage that he could do. So that's really bad. And then Mxyzptlk makes himself huge. He makes himself giant. He's no longer a little
and he's infected everybody. So yeah.
And he gets infected. And I never thought Mxyzptlk would be all that, that much of a threat, but yeah, Mxyzptlk is bad.
Yeah.
It was really bad having Mxyzptlk as virus infected. So
yeah.
So that's how you get them infected, and they're just inflicting this even more on the DC universe. And I forgot where I was going.
We're talking about Spectre, so we're getting Spectre. So Spectre got separated, or Spectre got. That was my question for you. Was wait a minute, what just happened? So
Spectre's, I didn't really.
So it's like the Spectre is like the spirit of vengeance,
right? Yeah,
kind of a thing. And so
it's almost like his spirit gets separated from his body, I guess,
or he gets killed, or the host is killed. So then Spectre goes somewhere else, and this is my point.
Right. Well, that's what I was saying. I don't think they really explained it well enough. But then as you go along, Alfred is really mourning over Bruce and Dick and Jason, and he has a spirit of vengeance about him. And I guess that spirit of vengeance within Alfred attracts the spirit of Spectre.
Yeah, right.
The spirit of vengeance of Spectre, and combines Alfred with Spectre. So now we have the Alfred version of Spectre, which makes him super powerful. Just wow.
Wow. Yeah. So I loved it. I was like, oh my goodness, Alfred's all buff now, kind of a thing. And
and he's still got the little Alfred mustache.
Right.
I love it.
You did, yeah. And I was like, that was one of those moments. I was just like, you turn the page and you're like, oh my goodness, kind of thing. It was really, it was really good. And
I didn't expect it. I did not expect Alfred to get the powers of Spectre and become one of the big heroes.
As far as writing goes, or comic book writing, not the storytelling, but writing for comics, in the styles that they write comics with, in the panels and in the word bubbles, I began to realize there at the very end, the way they did it, it was Alfred telling the story the whole time.
Yeah, I didn't notice it until I didn't realize it till it was the end. And you kept getting like at the very beginning, we got the thing of it says in that little storytelling, it says I never understood what it was like to be a parent until I had children of my own. And when the way they introduce that, you think it's Supergirl's parents saying this because you're at that point seeing them send away their daughter. You know what I mean? And so it's just, oh, okay, this is Supergirl's parents telling the story. And then you don't really think about it throughout the whole thing. And then you get to the end and you actually find out it's been Alfred who's been narrating the story all along.
Yeah.
And, yeah, great story writing.
I was just like, this is so cool.
Honestly, these stories are probably some of DC's finest. I have to admit, it's super, really, really good.
Yeah, it's not just a simple plot. It's multiple plots, multiple themes, all woven into just incredible story, incredible artwork. One of the other things I really enjoyed, speaking of panel turning, what was that moment when Darkseid got the yellow ring?
Oh yeah, he becomes a Yellow Lantern.
That's everybody when I got to that point and saw that, I'm like, this is early on in this series. Oh my goodness, what else are they going to do? And I'm like, and my brain went to once Darkseid in the Yellow Lantern, look sort of.
Oh, he looks incredible too.
He looks incredible.
And then he's infected by the virus, so you have the the zombified look on top of the Yellow Lantern. And
yeah. And I'm sitting there going, there's a certain phrase, I can't say it on the airways, and nor should I really say it. But I was like, they are in trouble. I mean, I was like, holy cow.
Oh, I know what you're thinking. They're up a creek without a paddle. Yeah, pretty much. Yep.
It was, and it just kept moving and moving and moving and getting larger in scale. And you're like, oh my goodness. And they get little wins, but then all of a sudden something happens, like, Darkseid, gets the lantern. I thought once Sinestro in War World, they captured War World, not only. I was like,
okay.
War World's infected.
Yeah, we got to talk about War World a second. So
go ahead.
Did you get Death Star vibes from that? Really? I did. I mean, it is almost verbatim when
it's true, they have this big beam that it shoots out in Superboy
Superman. It's almost Tarkin destroying Alderaan. I mean, come on. I was like, all right, you just completely ripped that off of Star Wars.
Yeah. It's a giant cannon.
So that one I was like, that's a blatant ripoff of George Lucas, but okay, I guess I'll let it slide.
Yeah.
I'll let that one go.
It was just good storytelling. It's just good storytelling.
Really good. Really good.
And
okay, so we gotta go to the end. We have to go to the end.
Go ahead.
Again,
Absolutely.
Spoiler alert. So the end, Damian comes up with a plan. And how fitting that Damian, who is now the current Batman, because Bruce has been killed at this point, he comes up with a plan to destroy the virus. And I mean, it doesn't get any more fitting, because who is going to stop this thing other than Batman? Which I thought was cool. I liked it. I was a little confused, though, of how the plan goes about, because I was like, wait a minute, because he goes and gets Cyborg, because he needs Cyborg for the technical aspect of Cyborg, and because it is part technovirus, he needs Cyborg for that, and basically puts the antivirus, I guess, into Cyborg, or at least he makes Cyborg think that it's going into him.
You mean the antivirus, the cure kind of a thing, or what they
were
wanting to do?
The final
big picture, what they were wanting to do. Yeah. So this was another element of where Batman always has a plan, or had a plan.
Right.
Bruce Wayne, Batman.
That's why I was saying it was fitting that Damian, has the plan, because he always has an ultimatum.
Basically. Yes, I'm just talking about how Batman he always had kryptonite,
Mhm.
the whole thing. And, the whole
Well, he has a
kryptonite ring.
contingency plan for the entire Justice League except Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman is the only one he doesn't have a plan for. And we always say, as Batman fans, every Batman fan is like, look, given time and prep, Batman can defeat anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's fitting. It works as far as that goes. Yes, it definitely.
And so the parallel I'm trying to draw is that he had that for Cyborg, and he took over Cyborg. That's how he got it, and how Batman was Damian Wayne was able to take in this life matter, because it's really what it was. You had the anti-life equation, it was the life equation, put it into him, and then that way he was able to sacrifice himself, kind of a thing, against the darkness, Erebos,
which was his ultimate plan, was to sacrifice himself.
Yeah.
Which Wonder Girl was ticked,
right?
Because Wonder Girl was mad because he wouldn't let her in on the plan. He wouldn't let anybody in on the plan. And so she was upset with that, because you're
just like your father.
Well, yeah, he is. He's his dad's son. That's for sure. Yeah. He's daddy's boy.
Yeah. But they did a nice play where they talked about here, he was raised to be an assassin. He was raised to take life. And here he was, and they say this in the storytelling, which is great. And then he becomes the one who brings life by the end of it, through being the Batman's son. And so it was, I thought it was quite befitting.
Yes. Now, so in doing that, though, basically a new universe is created. So do you think that they will go into this new universe, if there'll be any kind of follow-up with this new universe and what happens?
I don't know. That's a good question.
That's a good question. I think that could be interesting. I could, we could have a Batverse.
Right. Yeah.
You can have a Batverse, and then Lobo could come into it. And we can actually get a story with Lobo in there.
Something like that. Excuse me. Yeah. Sounds good. Oh, man. So I don't know about you, but I just want to say thanks, because that's another great recommendation for the show. I mean, it was definitely a page turner for me. And
yes,
I quite enjoyed it.
If you're into DC Comics and you want a great storyline, I highly suggest both Deceased and Deceased War of the Undead Gods, because they are some of DC's finest writings, finest artwork. You don't get a lot better than this. And it's just such an incredible roller coaster ride between the two events.
Mm-hmm.
I highly recommend them. Some good heart-wrenching stuff, some good fun stuff. I love Black Canary as a Green Lantern.
Yes.
I almost want her to become officially a Green Lantern. Man, she would be actually one of my favorite Green Lanterns if she actually became a Green Lantern.
Agreed.
That would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
So that was one of the pluses we got out of this. Like I said, my only drawback was just not enough Lobo. You introduced Lobo, and then you just kind of did nothing with him. So that was my really only complaint about the entire series. Other than that, I cannot praise it enough. It's so good. So good.
Mm-hmm.
So if you put two of them together, I think I would give it 10 Doom Tubes. Oh, we didn't explain the Doom Tubes either.
We didn't.
Yeah. So in the DC universe, they have what they call boom tubes. And boom tubes is a way for like the gods to travel, or different characters, and they're all controlled through the mother boxes. But so since we had the infected gods, they called them doom tubes instead of boom tubes, which I thought was pretty clever.
It was fitting.
Yeah, it was very fitting for the story. So yeah. But that's how the gods would get around. They would use the doom tubes.
I just figured they were infected just like the mother boxes were infected.
Probably, yeah, because the mother boxes got infected too. I didn't think about that. So yeah, they probably were infected. Who knows? But yeah, I think this is a really cool take on the whole zombie genre. Because I've enjoyed, like, I like The Walking Dead. I like the original Walking Dead series. I thought it was really good. I read both the comic book and we watched the full series, TV series. After that, I haven't watched much beyond that. I haven't watched the new stuff at all. But there's been other zombie stuff that I like, but I thought this was such a different take, being the fact that it was both biological and technical at the same time. And that's just not something you had seen, or at least I had never seen until this series. So I thought it was a really cool take on the whole zombie genre. It was different. So good on you, DC.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one. It's worth the cost of doing DC Infinite.
Definitely.
It is. I mean, you could go out and buy them all. But you would probably spend more money than you would for, well, let's see, what, they're $3? No, they were like $5 each, weren't they?
They are $3.99 a piece.
$3.99. So $4, so it's $32.
Yep.
Yeah. For really cool artwork on every page. That's a deal.
Yeah, but to be totally honest, if you waited this long, just wait another
for the trade.
Get the trades, because I'm sure the trades are going to have some incredible covers to them that are a little different than the main books, and they will include extra artwork. They usually do that you don't get in the regular books. So just wait for the trade. That way you get the whole story. Where I had to go month by month and get these. They were like,
is it September? I think in September is when it comes out.
Oh, not long, actually.
Yeah.
I may have to go check out the trade when it comes out just to see what it looks like and stuff. I'm sure I'll go look at it at Barnes & Noble. I always do. So,
right.
I don't know if I'll buy it or not because I got all the individuals, but who knows? If they add a cool extra to it, yeah, I might pick it up. We'll see.
Yeah.
All depends on what else I'm spending money on at the time.
So, right. So true. Spending mine on groceries.
Yeah. I guess we got to eat.
Right. Something like that. I can only have ramen for so long. I'm just kidding.
I can't eat my comic books. So.
Right.
All right.
Cool beans. Good show. Good show. Thank you. Awesome. Everybody, thanks so much for joining us here on Two Geeks and a Microphone. I just want to say, if you want to do your own podcasting, like I said before, you should use StreamYard. Because StreamYard has all kinds of different plans. But what the cool thing is that it's, how shall I say, the audio is really good. They're introducing all kinds of new features. The video allows you to live stream to several different locations. For those of you who are on Twitch, this is after the fact. Sorry, something happened. We got disconnected. So we'll re-upload. And so, okay. So I just want to say, though, we love StreamYard. Multiple, what I was saying, there's Twitch, there's Facebook, there's YouTube, there's Twitter. I mean, there's all these different places you can stream simultaneously to and get connected with different communities. We absolutely love it. There's a link down below where you can click the link and get like a little free trial. They have a little free plan. You can just test it out to see if you like it and stuff. It allows you to go on to one platform and just give it a shot and see what you think. So check it out. We absolutely love it. We're coming up on 1 year using this one. We were using other ones and just really enjoy this platform.
Wow, has it been a year?
Wow. Wow, almost. Not quite, but we're getting there. And so we absolutely love it. So with that being said, Mike, I don't have any other things to say here at the end. What about you?
Well, if you made it through this far, please go like us and subscribe. Go like us on Facebook. I try to put a lot of funny memes up there, and any upcoming info you'll get on Facebook. That's where I post all that good stuff at. Make sure you give the little bell a tickle on YouTube so that you are notified anytime we get a new video come up, and subscribe. And most importantly, go like the video on YouTube, please, because the more likes we get on those YouTube videos, it helps the algorithm for the YouTube. The YouTube guys like that kind of stuff, and it helps put other eyeballs on our videos. So please do us a favor and go like those. And if you can, go give us a like and a review anywhere that if you listen to the podcast. If you're an audio listener, we are on almost all the platforms, all the podcast platforms out there. If there's a way for you to rate the show and give us a review on the platform you listen to, please do that. So, and I think that's all I got.
Okay, man. I'll let you sign us out. Good episode. Thank you so much for the recommendation on the issues. So everybody, Mike has issues.
I do, and I got more coming up. I got a plan we're going to talk about after we get off here, because I got another series that I think we should go through. We'll get more details on that one. All right. With that said, oh gosh, I don't have an outgoing line for this one.
He's going to think of everybody. So I'm going to talk for just a minute, because he's going to come up with a much more better catchphrase. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, over and out. And see you next time. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Love it.
Thank you for joining us today on the Two Geeks and a Microphone podcast. Tune in next week when we will have more news and reviews. Until then,
may the force be with you.